Today you're going to learn a little bit about imperfect tense and future tense. So make sure you have your chart books out because you're going to get them filled out so when you come to class you'll be ready to go. All right, tenses. Now, in English we often use a helping verb to indicate tense. So in present tense it would be he is walking. Imperfect tense would be he was walking, and in future tense he will walk. In Latin, there isn't a separate word, but something we can call a tense marker. All right, so for imperfect tense, the imperfect tense shows an action that was going on or not finished in the past. And our tense marker here is BA. And what you're going to do for imperfect tense, we're going to use, see when we translate in English, you see this was or were, that's our helping verb, plus turning the verb with an ing anytime you do it. So first person singular is bombs. You see the BA right there. Now instead of what you're used to as an O, this is one of the other alternate times with first person singular you're going to use an M instead of an O, because I don't know, maybe it was pronunciation, maybe bow was harder to say, but bomb is definitely much faster. So bomb, boss, but. So continue with the BA. Bamus, batis, and then bunt. BA all the way through. So it's pretty easy. So we're going to remember use the word when we're translating was or were in front of the verb and end the English verb with an ing. So let's do a little conjugation practice. So to conjugate a present imperfect or future tense verb, what do you always do? Go to the second principal part, remove the RE, and add the ending. So bombasbat, you should have that in your chart book so you can watch as we go along. So second principal part, here it is right here, ambulare, go to the remove the RA, and what we have left is we have the verb stem. So remember, the easiest way to conjugate a verb is to write the stem down first. And we're going to do this in imperfect tense. So remember the ambulo, this is first and this is present tense. So you're no longer going to use ambulo. You're not going to put it down here in the imperfect. So we're going to erase that so you don't even pay attention to it. And in every single one of these things, the easiest thing to do is just to write ambula. Start with that under each one of them. And you can practice this too. You're going to do it a lot in your homework, but it'll get really natural to you after a while. So you want to write the stem down because then it's down, and all you have to do, once the stem is written down, all you have to do is add the endings. And you remember from above, and we do it in a different color here so that it's easy to see. Ambu, bomb, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bunt. And yes, these verbs are going to get longer and longer and longer. So it means to walk. So what we're going to do when we translate it is you're going to say, I was walking. Then you were walking. Remember, he, she. I want you to write all three of them down all the time right now. He, she, it was walking. If you're not sure of which helping verb to use, was or were, then just put it in a sentence. You wouldn't say I were walking to the beach. I was walking will sound right because it is. So we were walking. Remember, we use the southern version to show plural. Y'all were walking. And they were walking. So same pattern as when you do a present tense verb. Your endings are just going to be a little bit longer. But if you look, remember, they still have, other than this has an O, S, T, moose, tis, nt. So recognize the patterns. Moose will always be first person plural. Nt will always be third person plural no matter what tense you're in. So start to see the patterns, and that will help you remember these much easier. Okay, future tense is next. The future tense shows an action that will happen in the future. We add the helping verb will, you can see right here, or shall, in front of the verb. And in future tense, we add the tense marker for future tense. Let me get it here. Is bi for most of the endings. Okay, let's fill out your future chart in your own chart book so that you've got them ready to go. So it is bow. Here we're back to the O, bis. You see the S, O-S-T, bit. So instead of ba, we have bi. Bimoose. Got the moose again here, and you can imagine what the next one is. Bitis. So we have the tis. And then instead of bint, we don't use bint for future where you'll use it later on in your Latin life, but right now it is bunt. So everything has that bi marker on it, except for first person singular and third person plural. Okay, we're going to conjugate again. Show you how it's done. To conjugate, remember, a future tense verb, you go to the second principal part, remove the re, and add the ending. So here we go. Second principal part, remove the re, and what do you have for our stem? Habita. Same thing you're going to do. Make it easy on yourself. Habita. Whole way down. Habita. Habita. Remember, it's not habito because that's present and we're talking about future. Habita. All right, and now we're just going to write our endings. I'm going to change the color again to help you see them better. Habita, remember, bow, bis, bit, bimoose, bitis, bunt. And the helper, we have a helping verb in English when we do this. So this means to live. I will live. You could totally say I shall live if you're feeling fancy. Oh, I shall fancy. No, I shall live. Live or will, shall or will is totally fine. Either one. You will live. He, she, it will. Again, you can do shall. We. So if you notice what you see, the patterns, pronouns stay the same, endings stay the same. We just have some things that change in the middle, and once you remember what those are, the endings are super easy to remember. You use patterns all the time in music that you memorize. You use patterns all the time in math that you memorize. Showing them in Latin is not going to be that much different. Okay, so let's look at, to practice what we just did, and identify and label person and tense, and then we're gonna translate them into Latin. So y'all, what person is it? Second plural. You know that y'all, second plural. Automatically. Y'all are plowing. When is that happening? Right now. So that's present tense. So if you were going to know what it means in English, you find the word for plow, which is arare. What are you going to do? Take off the re, and we've got ara, and what's the second plural ending? Tis. Aratis. All right, I was calling. So I automatically tells us it's first person, singular, because I has to be singular, and was is imperfect. So you look up the verb for to call, and it's wokare is the second principal part. Take off the re, we just got woke up. And then now we look at what's the first singular imperfect ending? Bomb. That's that one that's not an O. Woke up bomb. We will rule. So we know has to be first person, but it's plural, first plural. That doesn't change no matter what tense or conjugation you're in. Will rule. So will is the hint right here. Will tells us that it's in the future. So future, the word to rule is regnare. Now, so we take off the RE, we've left with the stem. Regna. And then remember, it has to have a moose in it. And what's our marker for future? Be. So B-I. Regnabimus. Two more. All right, so you notice we're going to go from Latin to English. If you notice this right here, what does that tell you? It's a question. So we can kind of ignore the NE for now, knowing it'll be in a question. Sometimes if you don't know how to turn something into a question, translate it as if it is a statement, and then it's really easy. One thing about a question is that in English, the helping verb, you always start the sentence either a question with the helping verb, or you start it with a question word. This doesn't have a question word in it. It's just the verb. So labor buntne. So buntne. So you see the bunt. Bunt. If you remember, look back on your chart. We know that that's future. And it is third because it's bunt and it has to be plural. So if it wasn't going to be a question, we know labora means to work. So the question, if it wasn't a question, it would be they will work because it's future and the future uses the helping verb will. However, turn that in. If you're not sure, turn it into a statement, turn it into a question. We move the helping verb first. So will they work? And that's how we order it into a question. All right, last one. We've got an adverb here, non, which means not. We always know that goes right before the actual verb. So, roga bat. All right, so look at the ending here. We've got a bat ending. Look at the bat ending. That automatically tells us that that is third person, and bat tells it's imperfect. And but also tells us that it is singular. Roga, remember to ask, rogare. So we can use he, she, or it. We do not use all three of them because that's not how we speak. We don't say he, she, it asks. So let's choose she. And she, and then what's our English helping word? Was. And then this is where we put in the not, right before the actual verb. She was not asking. Pretty simple. It's all patterns. You're just going to have to practice it a lot, which you will get a chance to do this week.